Hello, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's training. This is our 1 month free professional diploma training in emotional intelligence. For those of you that will be connecting for the first time, this is our 1 month free professional diploma training in emotional intelligence. We want to welcome all of you for today's training. And today's training, we started yesterday and we are going to continue today. So either you are connecting on YouTube, Facebook, this is our second training for emotional intelligence. This training is a free training and it's being provided by the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. As you join this training, at the end of the training, you sit for an examination. If you pass the examination, we will award you a certificate, a free certificate. You are not going to pay for it at all. So if you join us, you will do it to share the link to others to join, share the live, share the links, put it on your wall, invite others to be part of the training, and do way to let us know where you are joining us from. All right. And in the course of the training, you can comment what you understand, paraphrase it, and then also, like our lives and all of that. So I want to appreciate all of you that has been, fervent in connections. All right, this training is being organized by the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. The essence of organizing this free training is to empower our followers and anyone who come across our training to be able to resolve differences in their communities, to be able to acquire the necessary skills to navigate complex challenges in our lives. So that's why this training is being provided for free. So anybody can join from anywhere and you can connect with us. So let us know where you're joining us from, your name, the country you are joining us from, or the location within the country. For instance, you say I'm Joshua from Abuja, Nigeria. You understand? All right. So that we'll be able to recognize you properly. And then we have people that have joined here on YouTube. We have John Saba from South Sudan, Juba from South Sudan. We have a Bio from Akure, Ondo, Nigeria. We have Dujak from South Sudan. Dujak, thank you for connecting. We have Godu, also from Ethiopia. We have Alfred Namkas from Plateau State. We have Ambassador Haruna. Thank you, Ambassador Haruna, for joining. Ambassador Haruna is a member of the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. So if you join us on TikTok, you do it to like, share, comment. You understand, to paraphrase what you are understanding. And if you're following us and you understand what I'm saying, comment, make a comment, tell us where you're connecting from so that we also identify with you. And then we have Marcus Tabule from South Sudan. Thank you, Marcus, for joining. Thank you, Oscar Angoro from Calabar, River State, Nigeria. Thank you for joining. Kingsley Agudu from River State, Nigeria. And then Rejoice Mark, Ambassador to be. All right. Rejoice Mark. Thank you for connecting from Abuja. Thank you, Aja Andrew. All right. Abia State, Nigeria. Onyibo Jews, Israel from Abuja. Thank you, Pastor Ayo is a member of the Institute. Ambassador Michael Ayo Samuel. Thank you for connecting from Anambra State. And then we have Ambassador Dr. Cecilia Fajubi is a member of the Institute as well. Thank you for connecting, man. We appreciate all of you for taking time to be part of today's training. And I hope you can hear me, those of you on TikTok. If you can hear me, just make a comment. Let me know that you are joining us on TikTok as well. And then we have Biochok from Ethiopia. And we have Richard Ngwao also from Douala, Cameroon. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of you for connecting. And today, yesterday we were looking at what emotions are, and we're talking about emotional intelligence, and we are in module 1. And then yesterday we looked at the unit 1. We were not able to cover the whole unit, so we're going to continue from part C that we needed to complete. So we're going to be looking at the role of emotions in decision making, how our emotions influence our decision making. That's what we're going to look at. All right. So if you join us, like I say, we do want to share the link for others to connect and also be part of it. All right. Now, yesterday we were looking at emotions, and we say emotions are physiological and psychological, factors that interact, right, and create a pattern of behavior in us. All right. So we try to look at what emotional intelligence is. We look at the importance of emotional intelligence. All right. Today we'll be looking at the role of emotions in decision making. So how does emotions influence our own decision making? When you are angry, how does the anger influence your decision? Do you understand? And when you are angry, how does it look like? Do you understand? The decision you take during the process of joy, how does it look like? Do you understand? So we are going to look at, because these are emotions. Anger is emotion. These are primary emotions. Joy, happiness, are primary emotions. Do you understand? All right. And so what we are saying here is that, how does these emotions influence your decision? When you are happy, how is your decision making? When you are angry, how is your decision making? When you are indifferent, that is, you are not angry, you are not happy. So what is your decision making? Do you understand? How do you make decision in this scenario, in this kind of situation? Do you understand? That's what it is. So we are looking at the role of emotions in decision making. All right. So emotional intelligence. All right. We say emotional intelligence plays a significant role in decision making, by influencing how individuals perceive, process, and respond to emotional responses. Do you understand? Emotional impulses, right? So, and then whether it's their own emotions or the emotions of others. So, emotional intelligence impacts decision making in the following ways. So, we are going to look at how emotional intelligence impact our decision making. Number one is emotional or emotion regulations. Individuals with high emotional intelligence are better able to manage their own emotions. Emotional intelligence, are able to regulate their what emotions and make effective decisions, right? Take effective decisions, right? They can be able to make sound decisions, informed decisions, because you regulate your emotion, you control how you feel. That is, if you have high level of emotional intelligence, you control how you feel. That is, you are angry, but you control your level of anger so that you can take informed decision. Do you understand? This is what we're talking about here. So emotional intelligence plays a major part in regulating your emotions. Do you understand? So that you don't take actions, take decisions on the basis of anger. Just look around, look around you, reflect on your life. Most of the times, the decisions we take when we're angry are always wrong decisions. Do you understand? 99% or 95% of decisions we take when we are angry always prove negative. They are not good decisions. If you examine your life very well and you have taken decisions when you are angry, you yourself. That's why sometimes in the course of our argument or exchange, maybe you say something out of anger, and after this scenario, and then someone confront you with what you say in the course of discussion, you say, "No, I did not say that. How can I say such a thing? Ah, no, 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 it's not me. How can I say such a thing? No, no matter how angry I am, I cannot say something like that. No, you said it. If you like, deny it to her, but you say it. It's simply because you were angry and you did not have control over what you were saying. That is why you can easily deny it that you did not say it. But actually, you said it. But because you say it out of anger, now you are denying because anger has died. Do you understand? Do you understand? That's what it is. So, but emotional intelligence helps you to regulate your emotions and guide you to take informed decision. Do you understand? To take what informed decision. So now let's look at another way that emotional intelligence impacts our own decision making abilities. We'll talk about empathy and understanding. Empathy and what? Understanding. Empathy and understanding. Please, if you join us, do way to like, do ways to comment, do way to share. Do you understand? Those of you on TikTok, you can just tap our screen, just tap it, and then it will indicate that you are engaging with us. Or you can comment in the comment section just what we are saying here. If you can paraphrase it, do you understand? All right. You can write emotional intelligence. You can say emotional regulation as being one of the aspects or the impacts of emotional intelligence. It is go a long way to help. And then empathy and understanding is also another impact, right? The impact of emotional intelligence on decision making, you know, it has to do with what? Empathy and understanding. So emotional intelligence allows individuals to empathize with others and understand their perspective and emotions. That is, if you are beginning to have some level of consideration for someone, it's because your emotional intelligence help you to internalize, you know, and begin to see someone's from their own perspective, from their own point of view. You are not just depending on what you know or what you understand, but you are beginning to see what someone is saying from their own perspective, right? And you begin to feel for them, and you are beginning to feel for them. That's what we call emotional. So emotional intelligence allows you to empathize with people, to sympathize with them, to consider them, right? To begin to understand their own, look things from their own point of view. That is how far emotional intelligence impacts you. Empathy and understanding. So this can be valuable in decision-making processes that involve multiple stakeholders, all right, or require considering the impact of decision-making on others. So that will inform your decision making. By the time you begin to feel for others, then you will not take selfish decisions. You will not take decisions that only benefit you, but you take decisions that benefits the other party as well. Because you have empathized with the person, because you have viewed things from the person's perspective. Do you understand? That's what we're talking about here. So another one is social. Another impact of emotional intelligence on decision making is what? Social awareness. People with high emotional intelligence are, they recognize how others feel, right? They understand, they recognize how what others feel about, you know, the issue in this, in consideration, and they take decisions. they consider them. They understand, how it affects, their level of interactions. So this awareness can be useful in decision-making context that involve negotiation, collaboration, or leadership roles. Do you understand? So this is how this social awareness help you to interact with others when it comes to decision taking. Do you understand? Or decision making. And then another aspect and another impact of emotional intelligence on decision making has to do with conflict resolution. Right? Emotional intelligence contributes to effective conflict resolution by helping individuals navigate emotionally charged situations. Do you understand? So once you find yourself in a very conflicting situation, your emotions help you to control yourself, to be able to engage and dialogue carefully. Do you understand? So engage in conversation to resolve your problem. Do you understand? That's what emotional intelligence helps you to achieve. It helps you to resolve conflict smoothly, right? So by managing emotions and communication taking place effectively, individuals can find constructive solutions to conflict and make decisions that promote what positive outcomes. So that's why it is. So when you are emotionally intelligent, you take decisions that benefit you and benefit others. Of course, it helps you to also resolve conflict. There's no level of conflict that you cannot be able to resolve. Because if you are emotionally intelligent, then you'll be able to know what to do at any particular time you find yourself. Do you understand? So that's what it is. So intuition and gut feelings is also another impact of what emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence can enhance intuitive decision making by allowing individuals to tap into their emotions and instincts. Have you ever take decision based on your instincts, intuition? Do you understand? You take decision based on how you feel or how you just perceive something to be. Do you understand? So gut feelings or intuitive hunches can sometimes provide valuable insight that complement logical reasoning in decision-making processes. Do you understand? So if something like this happens, it means that something like this is likely to happen. Then you take decision. That's why those uh, it, uh, you know those Iran football gears, they were in the field. I don't know what came over them that they protested. They refused to sing their national anthem. Do you understand? They refused to sing their national anthem. And then there was a threat. A threat came. And because they understand their country very well, for that singular thing they did, it means that going back home, they are going to receive serious punishment. Do you understand? Serious punishment. And then some of them decided not to go again. Do you understand? By the way, already the damage has been done. So Kokuma, let's just stay where we are. No more going back to Tehran. Let's just stay here. 5 of them have been given asylum in Australia. Do you understand? In Australia. So that's it. Intuitive. So if you refuse to sing the national anthem of your country during a football match and there was a threat, that what that means is that if you go back, begin to threaten you. They started threatening you right while you were. So why should I go back? So they decided to stay back. Do you understand? So that kind of a thing, intuitive decision making, God's feelings. Do you understand? So overall well-being. So individuals with high emotional intelligence tend to have better overall well-being, which can positively influence their decision making. So this the remaining part of what we did. Emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in decision making by influencing how individuals manage their emotions. And maintain overall well-being. So this is what emotional intelligence help you to achieve. So are you an emotionally intelligent person? What's your decision taking abilities? Do you always take decision out of anger? I have resisted that several times. In my home, I have resisted taking decision based on how I feel. Do you understand? Sometimes, even in our groups where we engage people to market our programs, sometimes you see statement that will make you to respond in a particular way. Sometimes you control your emotions. Sometimes you type message, you delete again, you type again, you delete, type and delete until you got the right message you want to share, and then you share it. Do you understand? After you must have calmed down and relax your emotions. Do you understand? That's what it is. Are we following? The people on TikTok, you are not responding. Are you part of this training? If you are part of this training, you will engage, right? Engage, comment, paraphrase, all right, like or likes. But if you're not engaging, so I will end it because you don't need it, right? Because the people on Facebook are engaging, the people on YouTube are engaging. So, but if you're not interested on YouTube, on TikTok, we will end the live. Do you understand? That's it. Because I cannot be burning my data and then you are not engaging. So in Unit 2, we are going to look at history and theories of emotional intelligence. History and theories of what? Emotional intelligence. So now, emotional intelligence have a history to be considered. Do you understand? There are some evolutionary processes that got us to understand what emotional intelligence is and how it can play an important role in our lives. Do you understand? So we're going to rattle through the history here, and then we have a brief understanding of what uh, has transpired over time to where we are today, so far as the knowledge about emotional intelligence is concerned. So, history and theories of emotional intelligence. All right. Now, so we're going to look at first of all, we're going to look at the evolution of the concept of emotional intelligence. How does emotional intelligence came about? Do you understand? How does it come about? So the concept of emotional intelligence has evolved over time with contributions from various researchers and scholars in the field of what psychology, in the field of education, in the field of organizational behavior. All right. All right. For those of you that have studied business administration, public administration, you understand what when we talk about organizational behavior. Time have studied the concept and have attempted to define the concept is and how it is important that we study it and how important we should consider it. And so we have some of those scholars here that we'll be considering, but we have those that we call the early sociological theorists. Do you understand? Early what? All right, for emotional intelligence, all right, that can be traced back to early psychological theories that emphasize what the importance of emotions in human behavior and decision making. So we have those sociologists, those psychologists, such as William James and Carl Jung. All right, they explore the role of emotions in cognition and personality development. All right, so these are some of the early uh, theorists that consider emotional intelligence. All right, we have William James and Carl Jung. They understand they are psychologists. They understand, and so this another model that talked about emotional intelligence is Salovey and Mayer's model. Salovey's and what Mayer's model. So in the early 1990s, psychologist Peter Salovey and John D. Mayer introduced the concept of emotional intelligence as a form of what social intelligence that involves the ability to monitor one's own and other people's emotions. Do you understand? So they can, you know, determine this kind of instrument that they can measure your level of emotions, how you respond to stimulus and the external, whether external or internal stimulus. Do you understand? So they begin to study how human beings, respond based on their emotions. So, and then they also try to, you know, see how and behavior. So they propose a model of emotional intelligence that include 4 branches. I will be looking at those 4 branches here. All right, we'll be looking at what those 4 branches. The first branches is what we call the perceive emotions, perceiving emotions. The using emotions is the second one to facilitate thoughts, understanding emotions, and managing emotions. First and foremost, talk about what perceiving emotions, using emotions to facilitate thought, understanding emotions, and managing emotions. Right? This is what we are going to consider here. All right. Let's look at it. All right. So now another theories that also you know try to define emotional intelligence is Daniel Goleman. Daniel Goleman's what popularization, because he's the one that even popularized the concept of emotional intelligence. Those other ones, they lay a background. He popularized it. Do you understand? Daniel Goleman. Daniel Goleman is science journalist, play a key role in popularizing the concept of what emotional intelligence with his book Emotional Intelligence. In fact, he wrote a book on emotional intelligence. Do you understand? So why it can matter more than IQ, intelligence what quotient. Why it can matter more than what intelligent quotient, IQ. That is emotional intelligence matters more than what intelligent quotient. The book was published in 1995. Goleman expanded on Salovey and Mayer's model and emphasized the importance of emotional intelligence in personal and professional success. So we say yesterday that emotional intelligence helps you to to take decisions, to do things that helps you to succeed personally and in professional career as well. Do you understand? So if you're highly emotionally intelligent, do you understand? Or you are a highly emotionally intelligent person, that means what that means is that you can live a successful life personally. And if you choose to do anything, you do it well, you succeed in it. Do you understand? If you choose to do anything, whatever you lay your hands to do, you succeed in it based on your high level of intelligence, emotional intelligence. Do you understand? So he highlighted the role of emotional intelligence in areas such as leadership. If you are highly intelligent or somebody that is highly emotionally intelligent, can and you take position of leadership, then you'll be able to lead well. You'll be able to lead in such a way that people will be happy. Do you understand? People will be happy. And when you take decisions, right, the decision is for the benefit of all. You are not just taking decision to manipulate people. You are not just making decision for your own good and then for the worst of others. No. But whatever decisions you take, you make sure that it impacts people effectively. Do you understand? Not this kind of decision that they elected you as a president and then you woke up and say subsidy is over. And then you are put in place before you remove subsidy. You know, so that's if that wasn't it's a decision that is impacting the benefit of all. So when you become the president, then subsidy ends immediately. Does not necessarily means that because you have you have now become the the president, then you on the very first day, then you say subsidy is over, and then thing change, and we have never recovered from that. Today, fuel is how much? 1,300 in some cities. In some cities, 1,400. Do you understand? In some local areas, it's even 1,500 per liter. Do you understand? I'm to travel. I'm just looking at how I'll be able to cope with all those high costs of fuel. Do you understand? And before I reach to where I'm going, I need to refill like how many times before I'll go. Do you understand? So these are the challenges that we're talking about here. Are we together? But decision was not just made properly. And even the money we are getting from the subsidy, where are we? It's not going anywhere. We're not seeing anything. Over 200 trillion has been spent in this administration, and we are not seeing the impact of it. So, and relationship management. So, these areas you succeed in them. You engage in a relationship, perfect relationship, whether it's a relationship of a casual relationship or an intimate relationship, things go perfectly well because you have emotional intelligence. Do you understand? So decision making, informed decision making. You don't just take decision because you want to take decision. You take informed decision that is well grounded. And then if you're a leader, you lead well. Do you understand? So these are the areas that Goleman was able to expand the concept of emotional intelligence to cover. All right. And then there are other areas like development of emotional intelligence frameworks. All right. So as there was the progression of researchers making attempts, then they attempted to give it a framework. All right. So subsequent research and scholarships have led to the development of various frameworks and models of what emotional intelligence. And this includes the work of psychologists such as Riven Baron and Daniel Goleman. Right? These frameworks have focused on the assessment, development, and application of emotional intelligence in a different context, such as education, healthcare, and business. So, if you are a person of highly intelligent person, then you can do a successful operation and you can be able to do it neatly without challenges. Healthcare issues are being handled, education is being you teach people and they're not struggling to understand business, do business is smooth. Do you understand? Emotional intelligence. So another one is integration into education and workplace. So the concept of emotional intelligence has gained traction in educational settings with a growing emphasis on teaching social and emotional skills to students, right? You teach them how to control themselves in certain situations. When somebody offend them, how should they react? Okay, you report to your teacher. Okay, you are not supposed to fight in school. Do you understand? So you are teaching the children to be able to control their emotions. Do you understand? So that even in the face of confrontation, they should know what to do. They should be able to control their emotions. But don't we see fight in school? Yes. Despite this kind of things, some students overreact because they have not been able to manage their emotions. But those ones that are able to manage their emotion, what they do when somebody offend them, they report to the teacher. Do you understand? Do you understand? That's what it is. So they are able to control their emotions and their interaction. They don't want their interaction to hinder or to bring conflict. Do you understand? So in the workplace, emotional intelligence is recognized as a key factor in leadership, team dynamics, and organizational success. Many companies now incorporate emotional intelligence training into their leadership development programs. So if you are working in an organization, you have not received this kind of training before, then you are receiving it at the platter of gold here, free of charge. You're not paying anything, right? And it's going to impact on your organization. At the end of this training, you apply the knowledge you gain here into your organization, into your business, into your leadership style, and then you benefit from it. Do you understand? So that's why it is. And it will be good enough if you can also retrain people in your organization on emotional intelligence, right? And then, or in your community meetings, you can still do that so that people can control their emotions. Do you understand? People can know how to handle their emotions. I get angry. If you see me as I'm here, as you see me talking about this emotional intelligence, emotional this, I am highly irritated. I get highly easily irritated. Do you understand? I get that is, I can easily get irritated. That's why I was telling the people following us on TikTok that if they are not engaging, I will just end I will just end the life because I consider you don't need it. Do you understand? I will consider that you people don't need it. So that's why it is. So that kind of thing. So I get highly irritated. But did I end life? I did not end it. I did not see much improvement, much changes, but I did not end it. That is to tell you that I have control. I have control over my emotions. Is it not so? I master my emotions. So I can get angry. All right. I can get angry, but I know what to do so that I will not overreact. Right. And of course, I do get angry, but I never break anything because of my anger. I never hit anybody. I never slap anybody because I'm angry. Do you understand? Even my children, I hardly beat my children. Before I slap or I beat you, it means that you have really crossed all the red lines before our fine came to flog you. Do you understand? But it's something I don't do. I don't beat anybody. If I tell you not to do that, stop. That's all. That is the person that get easily irritated. I don't slap, I don't break bottles in the house. I don't break plates because I'm angry. No, I can be angry, but I still have control over my anger. I regret it. Do you understand? And I can be angry today. In the next minute, you see me smiling. Do you understand? And then I can be angry, and then sometimes it takes a while. Yeah, depends on the what is the offense. All right, but I don't allow my anger to go down without me trying to adjust myself. Do you understand? So, no, we are all human beings. Definitely, you can get angry. There's no way you cannot get angry as a human being because something must offend you. Somebody must, offend you definitely. But how do you respond? How do you react? Do you react or do you respond to offenses? When somebody offends you, how do you respond? You react or you respond. Understand the difference. So critics and further research. Why emotional intelligence has garnered widespread interest and application, it has also faced criticisms and debate. Some researchers have questioned the measurement and predictive validity of emotional intelligence assessment. That one is another argument, but when we get there, we'll begin to look at some of those things. All right. So ongoing research continues to explore the new nuances of what emotional intelligence, its impact on various outcomes, and its practical implications in different contexts. So the concept of emotional intelligence has evolved from early psychological theories to a widely recognized construct with implications for personal development, educational, leadership, and organizational behaviors. Do you understand? So, this is a brief history of how emotional intelligence evolved. Do you understand? So, let's look at the different models of what emotional intelligence. Let's look at some of the different models of emotional intelligence, and we're going to start with the Salovey and Mayer's four-branch model of emotional intelligence. Salovey and Mayer's four-branch what model of emotional intelligence, right? So we consider it to be one of the early and influential models in the field of what emotional intelligence. So it was developed by psychologist Peter Salovey and John D. Mayer in the early 1990s. This model outlines four key components of emotional intelligence. I think we mentioned them, so we are going to explain them now. We talk about perceiving emotions, we talk about using emotions, we talk about understanding emotions, and then we talk about managing emotions. I think this is what we talked about. All right. So we're going to explain what this means. When we talk about perceiving emotions, what does that mean? This is ability to accurately perceive emotions in oneself and others, as well as in objects, in acts, in stories, in music, and other stimuli. Let me take it. Perceiving emotions, the ability to accurately perceive emotions in oneself, all right? You first and foremost perceive how you feel, and then in others, as well as even in objects, in acts, in stories, in music, and other stimuli. Now, if you see an artwork, like somebody have designed an act work, all right, all this artwork, you see them around. Somebody did, okay, now, for instance, now you see somebody create an artwork and they draw a frame with a map of, let's say, Nigeria on it, and a child carrying a gun. What is that telling you? There's something. What do you perceive when you see something like that? What do you perceive? Or when you come to the city of Abuja and you see an artwork where you see a model woman carrying a basket on her shoulders at the back, what does that, what do you perceive? Do you understand? So now you are trying to look at what comes in the mind of this artist. What is the message this person is trying to pass across? So you are trying to look at, you are trying to perceive the emotions of the artists through the artwork. Do you understand? I don't know whether you are trying to understand what I'm saying here. Now, or you listen to a particular music, somebody sing a music, and you are trying to perceive what was the emotion of this person when he was composing this song. Do you understand? And what message is this musician trying to pass across? Do you understand? And why is this person passing this message? No. When Adu Karim sang a song and say, Nigeria jaga jaga, everything scatter scatter, poor man they suffer busa busa. What was under normal circumstances everywhere things were scattered. But the leadership at that time were, by their own perception, all right, by their own perception, they consider that song to be what? To be the message, they were not comfortable with the message the song was trying to pass across. So they banned the song. They banned it. Because they perceived something. What did they perceive? They perceived the emotion of the singer. And what was his emotion? He was angry with how things were being run, how the system was being functioning. Do you understand? So, and it was possible that he was communicating the minds of other Nigerians. And so the government said this song cannot go. Understand? So when you perceiving emotions, the ability to accurately perceive emotions in oneself, in others, as well as even in objects, stories. Somebody tell a story here. What did you perceive? Do you know that somebody may say a story here? You listening to it, you perceive something different from what they are telling you. All right? Somebody may say yes to you. Somebody may narrate a story here that make them look innocent. They are 100% innocent based on the story narrated. But if you perceive it carefully, you will understand that there is something that is not just matching up. Perceiving emotions. So this involves recognizing and interpreting facial expressions, body language. Thank God they're trying to, I didn't even look at it critically. I'm just trying to connect this. Body language, facial expression, and other cues that conveys emotions. Someone someone did something and then maybe he's being asked and then he said that, no, I'm not the one that did it. No, I cannot do something like that. But you look at that and then something just not sit well with you. You perceive something differently. Say, you are the one that did it. Say, no, how can I do something? I say, you are the one that did it. They say, no. There's one man in my place. The man, he used to steal goats. If it's still goat and he noticed that maybe they are looking for the goat, he will go and slaughter the goat, dig the ground, bury it. So maybe after a while, he will go and remove it. Do you understand? And still make use of it. So, and they know him that he's a thief. So if your goat is missing, anytime goat is missing, they face him. They will cut him, say, no, 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 I'm not the one, I'm not the one. I'm not the one. He will deny it just like before. He will deny everything. And true to it, sometimes you will even tend to believe him. He will give you a story that he was not even around. And true to it, you may even believe him. But if you open eye at him, you say, you're the one that did it. You now begin to confess. After serious beating, he will begin to confess that he's the one that stole the goat. Do you understand? So that's why it is. All right. So that's it. So using emotions, perceiving emotions. Now you perceive the emotions. Now you're going to use emotions, right? After you perceive something, don't you use it? So you perceive something, you use it. So after perceiving emotions, you use emotions. All right. So using emotions, the ability to harness emotions to facilitate thinking, problem solving, and decision making. Now you perceive a particular emotion, you process it. All right. You process it, you harness it. You harness the emotions you have perceived to facilitate what thinking, to help you to solve problems, to help you to make informed decisions. Do you understand? That's why sometimes you perceive something, but you keep quiet. You are just trying to ponder about it and wonder what to do best with what you have just perceived. Or you just give your time to still observe more, to confirm and confirm that yes, what you perceive is correct. Do you understand? Before you begin to take decision, you begin to respond. So this includes the ability to understand how emotions can impact cognitive processes and using emotions to guide behavior and adapt to changing circumstances. You understand? So you perceive emotion, you use emotions, right, in such a way that it helps you to adapt to even changing circumstances. If leadership change, if you were too lenient with the leadership that has changed, then you must be careful with the new leadership that is coming. That's if you were too lenient with the previous leadership, you should be careful with the new leadership that is coming, because your level of lenient may not be so again with the new leadership. You may be dealing with a different person altogether, and he will not welcome your excesses. Do you understand? So you must adjust your position. So, but that will determine based on your perception and how you want to use what you have perceived. Then understanding emotion, the ability to comprehend, uh, you know, emotional complex relationship between emotions, recognize the causes, the consequences of emotions, and understand how emotions evolve over time. This branch involves emotional literacy, right? Emotional literacy and the capacity to label and differentiate between emotional what various emotions. So that's why it is. So the ability to comprehend complex relationship between emotions, recognize the causes, consequences of emotions, and understand how emotions evolve over time can help you to deal with, manage the emotions very well, make use of it based on what you understand. Managing emotions, the ability to regret and manage one's emotions as the emotions of others. This includes the capacity to regulate emotions effectively, cope with stress, adapt to situations, and maintain emotional well-being. So when you perceive, when you process, when you understand, then you manage your emotions, right? To cope with whatever situation you find yourself in, to navigate complex challenges, changing situations, and circumstances. That's what managing emotions help you to do. It's only a fool that will understand something and will not want to manage the situation to get. It's left for you to be able to know that the environment where you are, you cannot do otherwise than to cooperate. So you cooperate and navigate and escape and move on. So that you not go and show strength in a place where they will beat you, kill you, and nothing happens. Do you understand? So that's it. All right. So Salovey and Mayer's four-branch model highlights the multifaceted nature of emotional intelligence, emphasizing the importance of perceiving, using, and managing emotions in oneself and in others. Do you understand? So uh, that is what the Salovey and the Mayer's model talked about, the four branches. Do you understand? So this is what they talk about. All right. So this is how it is. Right. So do you have any question? If you have any question, you ask. But the Salovey and Mayer's model, this is what it is. Four branches: perceiving emotions, using emotions, understanding emotions, and managing what emotions. So that is unit 2. So we're going to unit 3. So Daniel Goleman's mixed model of emotional intelligence. Let's look at what Daniel Goleman's mixed model of emotional intelligence is all about. This was built upon the work of the previous one that we have explained. So he tried to expand what they explained there. All right. So we are going to look at what he expanded. All right. He expanded something. So let's look at it. He wrote a book on emotional intelligence. So why it matters more than IQ. So it identifies 5 key components of emotional intelligence. It identifies what? 5 key components of emotional intelligence. So we talk about what we call self-awareness. Say what? Awareness. Self-awareness. This involves recognizing and understanding one's own emotions, strengths, weaknesses, values, and goals. How many of you recognize your emotions? Now, I can easily tell you that one of my weaknesses is that I get easily irritated. Do you understand? I can agree with you 100% that one of my weaknesses as a person is that I get easily irritated. I'm recognizing my own weakness. Now that I recognize my weakness, How do I manage this weakness so that it will not cause me problem? So that it will not spoil business for me. Somebody will come and ask me a question, and then I will get irritated, and then I will bounce the person back, and then I will miss business opportunity. I will lose money. You understand? So, so you recognize your own weaknesses, strength, values, and goals. Is this thing important to me? This training that I am joining here, is it important to me? Do I need it? Oh, I'm just joining because it's a free training, so let me just join it. Do you have any form of value attachment to it? If you finish this training, what are you going to do with it? How impactful is this training to you? You understand? So what values do you hold for this training that you are connecting for? And what goals do you have to do with this called emotional intelligence? It's a free training, but do I need it? What value do I hold for it? Do you understand? So that is what it is. Do you understand? Uh, so self-awareness, know what you want. Know what you want. Know what you want. Know what you want. Recognize your weaknesses. So self-awareness or self-aware individuals are attuned to their inner emotional states and how these emotions influence their thoughts and behaviors. If for me, if I'm not going to benefit from it, I'm not going to connect. I'm not going to participate. If you like, let it be free, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You understand? Now, let me tell you something. It's the reason why someone will give you money and you tell the person, no, you don't need the money. I don't have need. As I'm here, people do give me money and I do say no. Most especially if I perceive that there is something hidden or there is something I'm perceiving, maybe something. Do you understand? Maybe you are trying to ask for unfavorable favor, and then I look at it, and then I just perceive that this guy, you are moving towards something, and then maybe you are giving me uh, something in court here now. I do say no. I rejected money severally like that in this organization. I rejected money. Do you understand? So I suddenly realized that I don't need the money. So I say they are paying me for the work I'm doing. So why should I collect money? They are paying me for what I'm doing. So let me not put myself into something that will put me under pressure. Do you understand? So you say no to money, you leave. Nothing. So self-aware individuals are attuned to their inner emotional states. So how do you free from within? So Daniel Coleman's expansion is that you should know how you feel you yourself first. See, let me tell you, if I do not have passion for what I'm doing here now, I will not be able to do this for long. But this training started last what? It started 2004, 2024 rather, 2024 in June. So last year June we clock 1 year, and so this year June will be 2 years in doing what we are doing here. Do you understand? It has impacted a lot of people, more than 4,000 people now. These are free trainings. These are trainings that we can monetize and make money. But I'm doing it out of passion. I'm doing it. You know, my wife prepared food. All right. She came back, she was preparing food. Food was ready. They were eating, but I look at my time. If I say I will eat this food now, I may not be able to do this training. I will miss the time for the training. I will just miss the time for the training. So I have to sacrifice the food to go for this training. Do this training first. I will eat the food. So it means that I will be eating swallow around 9. Do you understand? So around 9. So under normal circumstances, that's not the time. Anything 7. After 7, you don't eat swallow again. It's heavy food. What am I going to do to dissolve that thing? Do you understand? But that's why you see, if care is not taken, your tummy will begin to, you get bloated. Do you understand? As a result of this. But I'm doing it because I have passion for it. If not, I'll go and eat my food and then ask you people to hold on. Do you understand? That's it. So be aware of what you want from your inner state. That's number 1. Number 2, self-regulation. Say what? Regulation. So self-regulation refers to the ability to manage and regulate one's emotions. Now you have understood your emotion. Now you are self-regulating what you have understood. I understood that my own weakness is what? Getting angry quickly. All right. Now, self-regulation now is going to help me to regulate that anger because I am aware of my anger. Self-awareness. I'm aware of my anger. So self-regulation is not helping me to regulate that anger so that I don't end up overreacting in any situation whatsoever. I get the point now. So self-regulation refers to the ability to manage and regulate one's emotions. Impulses, anger is part of it. Over-excitement, frustrations. Do you understand? And they're there. So reactions in different situations. So it involves controlling disruptive emotions. Disruptive emotion. When you get angry, you can disrupt things, you can scatter things, you can insult people, you can talk anyhow. So, but me, sometimes if I'm seriously over angry, I withdraw from that situation. Yes, that's if I'm seriously angry, I withdraw from that situation. Sometimes, even if somebody asks me a question, I consider that question to be so provocating. What do? I don't respond so that I will not go and tell you something that you won't want to hear. You understand? So that's it. So you control disruptive emotions, adapting to changing circumstances, and maintaining composure under what? Pressure. You maintain a certain level of composure even when you are under form of what? Pressure. Doesn't matter the kind of pressure you are on. You can still maintain yourself, control your emotions. Another one that Goleman talked about, another component that he talked about is motivation. Motivation, self-awareness, self-regulation, Now he's talking about motivation. Motivation in Coleman's model involves harnessing emotions to achieve goals, persisting in the face of challenges, and demonstrating a strong drive to succeed. So, individuals with high emotional intelligence are often motivated by intrinsic factors such as a passion for their work or a sense of purpose. This is what I was talking about here. I am motivated. Why am I motivated for what I'm doing? For just saying, okay, come, let's exchange knowledge, let's share knowledge. Okay, I just want to see that, oh, I just want to see that there are no conflicts in our society. I just want to see that our society is very peaceful. I want to see that families live their lives, and then there are no divorce in homes. Do you understand? A home should be able to manage their differences and then preserve their marriage. Do you understand? Because when I was growing up, you know, when I was growing, the reason why I'm so passionate about what I'm doing here is that when I was growing up, there's this incident that used to happen in my locality, and I really felt so bad about it. Even though I was a child, a young boy growing up, and although my father, a military man, was not actually around at the time, I was just like 5 years, all right, he was not around doing his military work while we were at home in the village with my mom and my siblings. Do you understand? And my father will only visit and go. And so we never experienced our father or our parents exchanging blows or fighting, or my father, a military man, beating his wife and all those kind of things. We never experienced that. We live in a very peaceful home. Yes, we were not rich, but at least we were rich in peace. Do you understand? There was enormous peace at home, except sometimes that my mom will cause trouble with my siblings. Do you understand? Because she was a mother that disciplined the children very well. So, but around me, and this very particular case, one man was having challenge with his wife. I don't know what was the problem. I don't know, but the experience was not funny. This man will beat the wife. The wife will run to these people that were close to us, and then their house was very close to ours. And then this man will still pursue this woman to this house. A far distance, so will come and carry this woman, tie her on a machine, this Honda, this small Hondas. Do you understand? And then be dragging this woman, tie her on the Honda, and nobody was stopping this man. Nobody was preventing this man from doing that, that crime, committing that crime. Nobody could dare stop that man. Even the people that the woman used to run to come and hide were incapacitated. They were not, I don't know what happened. They could not just stop the man. Anytime I would see that, I'll be shedding tears. I was just a small boy, but I won't be shedding tears. So I felt so bad, and the marriage did not last. Do you understand? The marriage at some point was dissolved. Children stranded because marriage dissolved. I look at people around me beating their wives, kicking, beating, insulting, no manner. No. And then I used to wonder, why is it that, okay, my father, they don't fight? Why is it that they are not fighting? But why is it that people around are fighting? What is the problem? And they cannot resolve their differences, amicably. They must fight. Do you understand? Even though I was not being able to question the situation the way I'm questioning it now, but the behavior and the happening was just so strange to me. You understand? So as I grow up, I began to, question more about these things. Why do marriages dissolve? Me, I made one commitment. I hate divorce. Personally, I hate divorce. I don't want it. So I can do anything possible to make sure that the marriage works. Do you understand? I don't value. It's not a good value for me. So whatever it is, we should be able to resolve our problems and continue. Do you understand? Yes, do have disagreement. Even me and my wife, we do have disagreement. Yes, but after the disagreement, let's settle down and discuss this problem and resolve it. Do you understand? That's what it is. So, and then another ugly experience I had was in the university. I school in Medjugorje, and there was an incident that happened in the school concerning somebody tearing the Quran and cleaning his feces and all those kind of things, and then litter it in the school. It was in an intentional something. Do you understand? As if someone was trying to do it just to cause conflict on campus. And then the conflict brought out, actually, the crisis started. Some students even collapsed somewhere in town, and they got to hear about the conflict in school and all of that. They collapsed. Some even did not recover from that collapse. Do you understand? Died. And some of us carry kaya on our head, our bag on our head. We were running to try to leave the school. That day, I entered Dangote truck from Maiduguri to Jos in cold. Do you understand? Ugly incidents. So, when this experience is reflected in my mind, and now that I am working with the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management, and with this background that I've just shared with you, I just feel like I should do something. Well, I don't know how much impact this thing is making, but I just believe somehow that it's helping 1 or 2 persons to be able to resolve their conflict, in a better way, not necessarily in a harmful way. Do you understand? So I'm just being motivated to do it. That's why I'm doing it for free. I'm just doing it. Right. So this is what Goleman is talking about here. Right. In the face of challenges, you harness your emotions to achieve goals. You persist in the face of challenges. In the face of setback, you don't see your setback, but you see it as a setup. You see it as a strong comeback. Do you understand? Just to experience a very strong comeback, you will see a setback, but you consider it to be a setup for a strong comeback. Do you understand? That's what we're talking about here. So you are motivated. You lose your job today, then you go and commit suicide because you lose your job. No. You just encourage yourself. I'm very intelligent worker. I'm very talented. I can get another job with ease. Then you'll be motivated to go and apply for another one and go on. Do you understand with your life? No, somebody will go and borrow money, and then after maybe he did not get the money. I heard of a story like that. Somebody, I think from Abia State, that killed himself simply because he borrowed money online and they were disturbing him. He used the money, played and then pressure too much, and then he committed suicide. I said, to hell with that. It doesn't matter the amount I borrow from my life. I'm not going to commit suicide. If you like, come and carry me. But I will not commit suicide because I borrow money. You understand? Highest, if you take me to court will ask me, when am I able to pay this money? Do you understand? As simple as that. Not you come, I know somebody, because a person that I know personally that worked with me, one day he called me that I should help him, that he borrow money online, and those people are calling him, and they are almost like the guy was almost like, he told me practically that he was going to die. I took time to counsel that guy. I told him that, see, no amount of money you borrow anywhere in the world should put you under pressure to a point that you want to kill yourself. What kind of demonic thinking is that? Nigeria as a country is owing. America, do you know how much America is owing as a nation that claims to be rich? You understand? So why should you kill yourself simply because you borrow money? Guy, calm down. I'm not saying that people should go and borrow money and put themselves under pressure, but in case condition puts you in such a way that you have no choice and you borrow money and you could not be able to pay back, then don't kill yourself. Just take your time, trust God, work hard, raise money, and pay as much as you can. Do you understand? But don't kill yourself. Don't become so demoralized, so depressed because of that, and that will lead you to do something else. Get yourself motivated. That yes, even though I'm owing, but I will get out of it. Nigeria is owing, America is owing. So I'm just an individual. If countries are owing, who am I? So you motivate yourself and move on. But that is a negative motivation. That's not what I'm talking about here. What about, but in whatever situation, just find motivation to still, go ahead to do something. Do you understand? That will help your life. So another aspect that this man talked about is what we call empathy. And what? Empathy. Goleman talk about empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Now, it's no longer about you now. It's about others now. You understand the emotions of others. You understand how they feel. And you are sharing in their feelings. That is, you are putting yourself in their shoes. You want to feel what they are feeling. You understand? Somebody is crying, you are smiling. Why are you smiling? You should also be crying. And if at least you cannot cry, keep quiet, don't smile. And don't shed crocodile tears. You understand? So, empathy. Cry with those that are crying. Celebrate with those that are celebrating. We have so, we have come to a point where in our nation that you see some strange behaviors. Very strange behaviors. Very strange behaviors. Very strange behaviors. And you're wondering why this kind of behaviors. Boko Haram kidnap school girls in Maiduguri. Then other people will be clapping. Oh, now them Boko Haram people. And Muslim now. Let them go and kill themselves. No problem. There's no challenge. It's their matter. Let them kill themselves. Okay. When Boko Haram now kidnap those that are not Muslims now, we will not be condemning. Why the other ones will be celebrating? What is that? Nnamdi Kanu will be imprisoned, but nobody asks question. But Sunday Igboho, people ask questions. Or Erufai, somebody asks questions. How do we come to that level that we are not understanding how people feel concerned, even if they are not for themselves, but they are talking for their own people. You don't care on what they are saying. You don't feel their feel. That is, you don't have any sense of empathy for their feelings. For you, everything is okay. Do you understand? So empathetic individuals are skilled at recognizing, they are skilled at recognizing and responding to the emotions of others, which is crucial for building strong relationship and effective communication. The reason why, even as a country, why we are not divided is because the North is not seeing what the South is going through, and the South is not seeing what the North is going through. So if it happens to them bad, we celebrate down here. If it happens to them bad, we celebrate up here. Why should we be like that? You will do something to somebody without any feeling. That's why somebody can work and say, I'm a ritualist. What makes you, that is, you are a ritualist, that is, you have no empathy. You don't have no feeling of sympathy or anything for anybody. You don't care. You kidnap somebody's wife and then you don't care whether that person, husband, children, you don't care about us. You kidnap somebody. You ask for money, they give you money. You refuse to release the person. You still ask. You are asking for motorcycle, 3 motorcycle. For what now? And at the end of the day, you still kill the person after receiving 5 million naira. What kind of thing is that? The last thing that Goleman talk about is social skills. Social skills encompasses a range of what interpersonal competencies, including communication, conflict resolution, teamwork, and leadership. Individuals with strong social skills are adept at building and maintaining relationships, influencing others, and navigating social situations effectively. So that's it. So Coleman mixed model of emotional intelligence emphasizes the importance of both personal and social competencies in achieving success and well-being. So, and this is where we are stopping today. All right. This is where we are stopping today. Unit what? Unit 2. So we have come to the end of unit 2. So if you have any question, you ask. Any question, you ask. Otherwise, for you people on TikTok, we are ending here. Thank you. For you people on Facebook, on YouTube, you can go ahead and ask your questions. If you have any question you want to ask. Do you have any question? So tomorrow we'll not be having the training, but we'll be having training by next tomorrow. That is on Thursday. We have our training on Thursday. So tomorrow no training, but we'll have it on Thursday. So have a wonderful night. Rest. We'll see you by Thursday. Thank you.